What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with one of our great brothers, a professional brother, the lead attorney. Now, this brother has his channel on YouTube. We'll put his channel link below so you can go subscribe to him. Now, he is a lawyer out of Atlanta, and he is definitely worked in family law for about 2 decades. Correct, brother?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's been a while.
Yeah. So you're a seasoned vet.
Yes, a little bit too seasoned, to be honest. I don't have any kids or anything like that, so I'm starting to look around to say, is it still worth it for me to keep going into these courtrooms year after year, fighting with all these people? Because again, the law is really just an adversarial process, and that's the fundamental heart of it. So you're always fighting. If you're not fighting in court, you're fighting on the phone. If you're not fighting on the phone, you're fighting in letters and sending emails back and forth. And it's come out. I think people have kind of always known this, but stress does take a toll on your body. And when you're in your late 20s, when you graduate from law school, mid 20s, late 20s, and then all in your 30s, you are grinding, and you appreciate that, and you're stacking up your money. But then, once you get a little older, I'm 44 now, so I'm starting to kind of just, look around and say, well, what is it worth, right? And so I'm kind of there now. And when we were doing all of this stuff last year, when everybody was kind of locked down, people were starting to make little hobbies and things of that nature to kind of figure out what they were going to do in their homes, in all their spare time. So my little hobby was to start a YouTube channel, and I started it to help men. And I deal with family law, and to be honest, I represent men and I represent women too, right? If you're a family law or a divorce attorney, you represent everybody. In fact, I'm also a guardian ad litem, so I represent children, little 6-year-olds, sometimes 4-month-olds. It can be, any type of child, man or woman. But I've got a lot of knowledge. And I love representing women and men as, equally. But I will tell you that as a man, there is a part of me, there's a special place in my heart for men, especially because here in this country, in the United States, the legal system is just not fair to men. And whether I'm representing women or men, when I walk into these courtrooms, I can see the unfairness plain as day. In fact, if you're an attorney, a new attorney, maybe you're practicing a year or two, you're still learning stuff. But after 5 years, you kind of got the hang of it. And so you can imagine after 20 years, even before we step into court, most of the times I already know what's coming. And there are a few little tips and tricks that men can use to so easily sidestep some of the traps that are waiting for them in these courtrooms. So while I had all this free time, I said, well, let me start a YouTube channel and kind of get some of this information out. Because let me tell you, it took a long time for me to get the information in my head. If you figure 4 years of college, then 3 years of law school, then another 20 years, 4, 3, that's 7 plus 20, that's 27 years. So, I'm good at my job, but it's not really the fact that I'm good that I'm able to sit in this seat. I'm able to sit in this seat because I've dedicated 27 years of my life to getting the knowledge that I have. Having said that, it's such a huge cost for me personally. But here, then to sit in this seat and give you the knowledge, it doesn't cost me anything. And so that really has been weighing on my mind. Now, when I'm in the office, when I'm at my firm, I need to charge for it, right? But I can sit here on YouTube and just give it to you for free. And so that's what I've started doing. And it hasn't been without some hassles, because again, I'm in my mid 40s, so try to figure out how the Stream Deck works, trying to figure out how this Roadcaster works. You guys can't see this, but I got 3 monitors here, all these lights. I'm not so big on the technology. I only really know one thing. I only really know these things, these books back here. I don't know much about cars or sports or anything else. So to figure out all this technology for me, it was an uphill battle. But I've done it now. I've already paid these costs, so it's very easy for me just to sit here and tell people. Some women, I've got about maybe 30% of my subscribers are women, but mostly men. That to sit here and tell men some of the traps that they can easily avoid. And a lot of men have fallen in these traps. You'll go to court on a Tuesday for a divorce. It'll be a terrible, terrible trial, and it'll last till Thursday. You get out on Thursday afternoon, and then the gentleman will go to the gun shop, and Friday morning, he's not on planet Earth anymore, right? A lot of men just suffer, not only in their marriages but also exiting out. You can really get raked over the coals. And so, since it doesn't cost me anything just to sit here on camera and talk to you guys about this, that's what I've started doing, right? And it really does kind of weigh on me, the fact that I'm getting older as well. Now, if you're 65, you're gonna say, "Oh, well, being 44 is nothing," and that's true. But when you when you're 44 and you've been doing something for damn near 20 years, it seems to you like a long time. It seems to you like you've been in the trenches for a while. Just imagine like a veteran, somebody in the military who's been fighting wars for 20 years. You get kind of grizzled. You get kind of tired of it, to be honest. Even if you feel like you're fighting a good fight, 20 years fighting is a long time. So I decided to start this YouTube channel to kind of get this information out of my head. They say when your grandparents die, when an old person dies, person in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, it's like a library burning down. That's what they used to say when people would go to the library instead of like Wikipedia, right? Because that's where all the knowledge was. You have an elder. When an elder passes away, it's so much knowledge that's contained that's just lost immediately, like like burning down a library. And so what I'm trying to do, thankfully I don't have any diagnosis or anything like that. I think I'm going to be here for a while, hopefully, but I still feel the need to get this information out. And there are not a lot of attorneys, specifically family law attorneys, on YouTube in our community. There's an attorney here or there. Most of them are women, but in terms of attorneys, in our sector, shout out to Uncle D, Dennis Sperling. He's not a family law attorney. He is an excellent civil litigator. And then I think there are a couple of Black women. One I think does criminal law, and another does some other type of law. But I don't know many Black uh, family law attorneys on YouTube. I said, well, listen, this is all I know. Let me start a channel, get this information out, and hopefully I can help change a few brothers' lives, giving them some information that's actionable and that's free, right? Because a lot of times, you'll have a brother, he'll go buy himself some $200 shoes, but he won't use those same $200 to go consult with an attorney, right? But maybe when he's wearing his $200 shoes, waiting in line, maybe he'll pull up his phone and get on my channel and learn a thing or two. So that's kind of how I got started here on YouTube. And listen, if you want to jump in and interrupt me, please do, because attorneys, man, we can talk, we can go. So when people interrupt me, I never take in settings like this, I never take it as a sign of disrespect. I just don't want to go down too far a line that you don't necessarily want me to go, but I can absolutely talk your ear off. But yeah, that's kind of how I started here on YouTube.
All right, listen, the interviews are about the guest. It's not about me. People hear me talk enough, right?
Okay.
So let me ask you a question, because like I said, I've been through the other side of family law. I remember I went through it so bad that I was considering going to law school. I mean, I was literally learning the Texas family law codes like the back of my hand.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it that women always talk about they want to be married so bad, but they the main one that file for divorce? Was it 80+%? They
Yeah.
file for divorce first on men?
Yeah, about 70% of the time, women are filing for divorces. And they file for these divorces. They do say this. You're exactly right. Women have ingrained in them this idea of getting married. And for good reason, because being married, if you do it correctly, can provide security and stability. For example, I make a good living, but I don't have billions of dollars. Let's say that I wanted to get married to Oprah, right? That would provide a certain level of stability in my life. And once I got married to Oprah, if it didn't work out and the judge says, well, okay, lead attorney, you filed your divorce, so we're going to give you half. Here's $6 billion. right? I was like, well, thank you very much, Judge. I'll take my $6 billion and I'll go live my life. That is a fantastic result, especially if you consider life, right? If you consider life, sometimes we don't really appreciate it. You know, shout out to the people who actually take a trip back to Africa. You can absolutely forget about some of the luxuries that we can take for granted. I'm sure you can go to places maybe in the Congo and be absolutely shocked at the way some people are living. And maybe when you come back from the Congo, maybe you realize that we have a lot of advantages, right? And so to be able to enter into a system, women can absolutely enter into a system where they will be able to take at least half of a man's assets that he's worked multiple years, sometimes decades for. They can take half of these assets, not only half of the assets, but then many times they can be awarded a monthly pension, a monthly salary. We call it alimony, right? Or some type of spousal support that can also go on for a number of years, right? And then any credit card debt, any debt that they have, the man will have to pay half of that as well, right? And then on top of that, they generally, if they have kids, they get custody of the kids, right? Give the fathers just visitation. Let the father see the kids Friday to Sunday, even though biologically that's half the father's kids. But he's not going to get half the time usually, right? So if you think about it, marriage is our perfect system for women. Why would they not want to get married? Having said that, once they get married, once they have secured their interest in your property, secured their interest in your stocks, in the equity in your house, secured their interest maybe in the right to receive alimony, secure their interest in having children, that they're going to get not only primary physical custody, but in the vast majority of cases, they're going to get a pension for the kids. They're going to get child support. It's a beautiful system for women. And when they exit out, you know, they get privilege going in and privilege going out. And so women absolutely can look at you 7 years later, you know, and maybe, you know, you playing the Xbox, or maybe you got a beer belly now, right? Maybe you're not talking as sweet to her as you used to, while at the same time, her work husband is saying, oh, if I was your man, I would do this. And if I was your man, I would do that. And the fact that she has a work husband at all, I don't know if you guys know what a work husband is, but usually
I've heard about it and I know exactly what it is.
And having a work husband or wife, it's exciting. And let me be honest with you, because I've represented people for many, many years. I can tell you, sometimes there's not a lot of excitement in a 7-year marriage. Sometimes there's not a lot of excitement in a 9-year marriage. You can very easily fall into this routine. So when the new guy comes around, he's fresh, he's new, he's exciting. There's an element of danger. There's an element of being a bad girl, right? And you know, he's putting on a lot of effort that you would never put on, let's be honest, as an 8-year husband, because you know everything about this woman. It doesn't really excite you so much. You might love her to death, but it's not like you feel butterflies. And after 8 years, she certainly doesn't feel butterflies with you, if we can be totally honest. But the guy down at the mailroom, right? She can absolutely feel butterflies for this man, while at the same time having secured her interest in all of your property and your assets and all of this. So why would she not file for the divorce? Right? Now she's got half your stuff anyway. So what is the incentive for her to stay in the marriage? A lot of times, guys, they'll file for the divorce and you will be ordered to pay her attorney's fees. Right?
That's the craziest thing ever. Like, wait a minute, you filed for divorce. Why am I paying?
Exactly.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Exactly right.
Oh, I can go down the list where I've been at the spousal support, temporary, been there, on top of child support, been there.
Yeah.
You know, and don't even talk about when you're trying to say, okay, when your son is about 12 years old, men, you say, you know what, I want to get custody of my son because he's 12. I need to teach him to be a man. I spent, lead attorney, $16,000 trying to get custody of my son. Had to pay the amicus lawyer, had to do all those things that I had to do in court. And the only thing I got out of it was extended visitation. Now, a man that spent $16,000, lead attorney, you would think that the judge would say, man, this guy's really serious about that. I'm married, stable household, not a criminal, a business owner. The amicus lawyer came here to see how I live. Seen I had a
Exactly.
whole room for him here. It's not like we have him sharing a room or anything like that. And it was a sister, she's a real cool sister, whatever, you know. But at the end, they say, okay, well, let's give him extended, visitation. We can have the child from Thursday evening to Monday
A
morning. We drop
Monday
him off at
morning.
school,
Yes.
or the
Yes.
45 days in the summer instead of 30 days. And I'm like, really? I'm like, why can't I mean?
Exactly.
I believe all if young boys should go with their fathers, definitely by the age of 12
Yes.
on. If he's a good man, not a criminal, etc. But these family law courts, and you have seen it, just don't treat men right. And it's like the men that's trying to do what's right, it's like the law will ream them, but then the Pookie and Ray Ray like, whatever.
That is exactly right. That's
Why
exactly
is
right.
that?
Well, I mean, the law goes against Pookie and Ray Ray too, but Pookie and Ray Ray so many times they don't have anything to lose. Pookie and Ray Ray will never be ordered to pay alimony, right? Not temporary, not permanent. Pookie and Ray Ray will never be ordered to pay for their wives' attorney's fees, right? Because Pookie and Ray Ray, they might not even have a job, not a legal one, right? Not a one that they can report. So there's only so much you can take from a Pookie and Ray Ray, and then you say, okay, Pookie and Ray Ray, you're gonna see your son, your 4-year-old son, from Friday to Sunday. Pookie's right. Pookie's like, how about if I never see him? I got stuff to do. And so there's not a really way to hurt Pookie. You say, okay, Pookie, you're gonna have to pay $600 in child support. Well, catch me if you can. If someone has that attitude, if someone has the attitude of being completely irresponsible, there's really nothing that the law can do to them. But you take a gentleman like yourself, someone is professional, they know exactly where to find you. And they know exactly how to make you pay. And you're not going to want to go to jail. You're not going to be wanting to move from here to there to avoid child support. And so you're exactly right. It's the good people, it's the responsible people. The good men are the ones who get taken advantage of by the system. Now, let's be fair, the system wants to take advantage of all men. But the Pookies and Ray Rays, they fall through the cracks. You can't grab a Pookie or Ray Ray. You don't even whose couch is he sleeping on? Where's he at? He's at his mama's house. Now he's at his sister's house. Now he's at his friend's couch. Where is child support going to find him? Who knows? Right? So your point is very, very, very well taken. And I have represented men. Here in Atlanta, we got everybody down here in Atlanta. Not only do we have athletes and entertainers and singers and actors, we got a lot of businessmen, a lot of men making a lot of money. And it's nothing for a man who's making, $750,000 a year or $2 million a year to get very frustrated with me and say, oh, well, lead attorney, I see the wife who, let's say they've been married 15 years and she hasn't worked a day in her life. And the wife is all asking for this and that and this and that. And it kind of looks like she's getting a lot of stuff. And you'll look at me and you'll say, well, lead attorney, I'm not sure you're doing a good job. I say, well, why is that? He said, well, it looks like we're on the defensive. It looks like we're on the back foot. It looks like she's taken from us. You'll say, how about this, lead attorney? How about we take from them? How about you do a good job and we take from them? I'll say, she doesn't have anything to take. She hasn't worked a day in her life. You've been the one that's working. You're the one with the millions of dollars in the retirement and the 401k. You're the one with the millions of dollars in the stocks. You're the one with the $500,000 to $750,000 salary. You have things to take. This woman who's had 3 kids hasn't been in the labor market for a decade and a half, barely knows how to read. What are we going to take from her? That's when the light comes on, right? And it reminded me of that when your example with the Pookie, because Pookie don't have anything to take either. The men with things to take are the men who are punished the most, right? And that is one of the injustices, because a lot of times to get a lot of things to take, to get a lot of assets, to accumulate a lot of property, I mean, women don't appreciate how hard men have to work. I'm just appreciating how hard damn YouTubers have to work. And I look at your channel and I'm like, man, I can only imagine some of the things that you've gone through over all of these years. right? And women are in the same situation. They have no idea what it takes to get these retirement accounts or these brokerage accounts
Mhm.
into the 6 and 7 figures. So yeah, it's a lot of misunderstanding, but at the same time, it's a lot of apathy. The courts don't care. You mentioned the amicus lawyer, they don't care. The guardian ad litem, they don't care. Judges surely don't care. A judge will take away half of your stuff and then go to lunch, right? And so no one feels our pain. Having said that, um, a lot of our pain is self-inflicted. And I never want to come off like a Derrick Jackson or anything like that. I never want to pander to our folks. I want to call out the BS, the injustices in the system, but I also want brothers, I want us to take a look at ourselves and say, okay, what could we have done? In so many situations, there's nothing that we could have done. You mentioned having kids, right? There's really nothing you can do to get custody. The best way, if you really think about it, the best way to get custody of your kids is that, have a child with a mom who's a crackhead. If you have a child with a mom who's a meth head, a mom who's smoking crack rock, a mom who's in prison, you will get custody. But if you have a child with an average mother, with a mediocre mother, shout out to Kevin Samuels, average at best mother, how are you going to get custody? You'll be lucky to get 50-50, and let's be honest, you might not get that. You might have to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and then you wind up with extended visitation. Well, we were going to give you Friday to Sunday, and if you're a good dad, Friday to Monday. But now that you've spent 20 grand, we're going to, instead of Friday to Monday, we're going to give you Thursday to Monday. That's not what I wanted. So you tell your attorney, you're like, attorney, this is not what I wanted. I want a refund. And your attorney laughs. The $16,000, you're not going to get a penny back. But it's
Yeah.
not really the attorney's fault, right? Because the attorney's, but it's the
No,
system's fault.
it's the system.
It's absolutely right. It's just not fair. So when you talk about having kids, there's not a lot you can do to avoid getting screwed over. But there are other things in terms of losing all of your assets and things of that nature. You can absolutely do things to protect yourself. The number one thing, of course, is a prenup. And I don't have any talking points or anything like that, but one thing that I do talk about a lot in the manosphere or red pill community, there's this thinking, this thought process that prenuptial agreements don't work. And it's idiotic. But apart from being idiotic, it's dangerous because this type of ideology can absolutely convince men not to invest the $2,000, the $3,000 in a prenup. Now, for the older generations, prenups weren't really a thing. They were, but maybe only for the rich, maybe only for people in other communities, right? So, if you got married 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe a prenup wasn't really in your mind so much. Fair enough. But nowadays, where everybody has access to the internet and things like this, we need free flowing information. And people need to know, men need to know that prenups absolutely work. Now, in our community, you'll hear people say, or in the red pill community management, oh, prenups don't work. I know somebody's prenup and they got thrown out. Prenups are like toilet paper, right? They just get thrown in the trash, and it's not true. Who says this? People who are not attorneys. What is a prenup? A prenup, guys, it's just a contract. So who are you going to listen to in terms of a contract? You're going to listen to a random person who's a mechanic or some accountant, or you're going to listen to an attorney. Who drafts contracts? Attorneys. Attorneys will tell you that prenups work. Now, have there been prenups that have been thrown out? Absolutely. And because of this, men will say that prenups don't work because prenups get thrown out. But men, a lot of times we don't follow through. And if you hear someone say that a prenup got thrown out, you have to say one word. One word, and it'll expose everything. The word is why. Why did the prenup get thrown out. That's the one word that men never say. We just, oh, prenup got thrown out. Prenups are trash. It's not true. You'll say, okay, well, I heard that Steven Spielberg's prenup, it got thrown out. And he has, multi-millions and millions of dollars. He had a prenup and it got thrown out. What's the one word you're going to say? You're going to say, okay, his prenup got thrown out. Why? What's the answer? Oh, well, it's because he wrote it on a napkin. He wrote his damn prenup on a napkin. Well, if you try to write a 30-page legal document on a napkin as a non-attorney, it might not work, right? What did I just tell you? I told you I'm an attorney. All I know is about these books. I don't know cars. If my car starts smoking and I go out and pop the hood and start undoing cables and loosening up bolts and it might not fix the problem. Why? Because I'm not a mechanic. How do I know what I'm doing? Well, if you're drafting a legal document, how do you know what you're doing? You don't. So many people try to draft their prenups by themselves. And then they'll put in silly clauses. Oh, my wife cannot get fat. That's what you guys
I'm
put in your
laughing at
prenups.
that. That's funny. Somebody actually tried to do that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You can't get fat. If you cheat on me, I get custody of the kids. If you divorce me, I don't have to pay any child support. None of this stuff can go in a prenup. If you try to put this stuff in your prenup, a judge can throw the whole thing out. Right? So if you're a man, you absolutely need to get a prenup. But there are 4 simple steps you got to take. The first one is get an attorney. And if you really want to be good, if we want to tell you the gold standard, because an attorney, what's the attorney going to charge you for prenups? They're really not that expensive. $2,000, $3,000. It can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars easily. $3,000 is nothing. Get yourself an attorney to draft your prenup. And here's the kicker. Your fiance, get her own attorney. Because a lot of times what these women will say is, oh, well, I didn't understand the prenup. It was all legal stuff. It was a 30-page contract. I didn't understand it. If she has her own attorney, she can't say that BS because her attorney helped draft it. Her attorney reviewed it with her, read every page, read every clause, word for word. Her attorney signed off on it. Now she can't say that she didn't read it. Now she can't say that she didn't understand it. Now she can't say that she didn't know what was in it. You had your attorney, she had her own attorney. And her attorney isn't going to charge her $3,000 to review it. It might just charge her $1,000, $1,500. So maybe you're in the whole thing for $4,000, $4,500, fine, but you're not losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So that's the first thing. What's the second thing? Listen, don't surprise your wife or fiance with the damn prenup. A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll get the prenup drafted. And then, they're standing at the altar. The parents are there. They're in the church. The little 6-year-old, here she comes with the rings on the pillow. And all the bridesmaids are there. The reception, the food is waiting. And here you go. Hey, babe, right quick, while we're standing here waiting for the ring, sign this. And you give her a 30-page document. A lot of guys try to spring the prenups on her. Well, she can go to court and she can say, listen, he sprung this thing on me. We had already paid for the venue. We had already put a deposit on the food. My parents had flown in. My bridesmaids, they had the dresses. They got their hair, their makeup. Everybody was there. It was going to be an embarrassment to me and a huge loss of money if I didn't sign. So I signed it, but I signed it under duress. The judge can be like, yeah, you did sign it under duress. So what do you want to do? You want to give her that prenup 6 months before the wedding. 6 months. Can it be 4 months? It gets legal? Yes, but the further out, the better. 6 months is better. 7 months is better than 6. A lot of you guys, you'll come to me 2 weeks before the wedding, say, hey, lead attorney, can you draft me up a prenup right quick? Could get thrown out, right? So what do you want? You want an attorney, at least one attorney. Gold standard is 2. You want to not surprise your wife, fiance with the prenup. Try to get it 6 months out, gold standard. What's the third thing? Um, you guys try to hide stuff. In a prenup, you got to list your assets, everything you got. A lot of guys back in the day, you were trying to, you were working on an app. Trying to, you had a little side business, a little side hustle. You're trying to hide that income. These days, what do you see? All you guys, you want to hide your Bitcoin. All these guys want to hide their Bitcoin. Hide something and see if your prenup doesn't get thrown out. It's not a fair contract. She's listed everything that she has, but you are being fraudulent in your own contract. A judge will absolutely throw it out. That's a huge reason. People are like, oh, my neighbor's prenup got thrown out. What's the question that you're going to ask? Why? Oh, because he was hiding his income. Okay, he was hiding his income. Does that mean prenups don't work? No, that means he was shady. Like, don't blame a legal instrument on people out here trying to get over. A lot of men try to get over, which is interesting because you're trying to get over, but then you're getting married to this woman at the same time. You are tying your whole lot to this woman while at the same time not trusting her. Make a decision. Tell her what you have. Or if you are not comfortable telling her what you have, perfect, fine. There's no shame in that. You've worked hard for what you have. Don't marry her. If you don't trust this woman, why are you getting married to her? Sometimes we have to sometimes drafting a prenup, we'll take a step back and why am I even getting married? So many men get married, they don't ask themselves that question. Why? Oh, because she told me to ish or get off the pot. That's the reason to get married? Oh, well, I knocked her up. Got to make an honest woman out of her. All right, we're not in 1963 in Alabama. A lot of you guys don't even know why you're getting married. A prenup might bring that, do I trust this woman? A prenup might wake you up a little bit. But that's the third thing. You need a full disclosure of your financial situation. A lot of you guys try to hide stuff. I get questions all the time about, hey, lead attorney, can you set me up a trust? Can you set me up a trust on one of these islands right outside of Hawaii? So I can ship my business or put a shell company down there and send some income to there. So that my fiance, not even the wife, not even married yet, so that my fiance doesn't find out. You guys don't want to tell what you got, which is a safe thing to do. It's not safe to run around and tell the world what you got. So I salute you for that. But then why are you tying your life to the same woman that you don't trust? It's a question. So that's the third.
And they need to be careful with some of these shell companies because that's what got Robert Smith in trouble.
Yes, I don't even do them. And honestly, I don't, because here's the thing, if you come in every divorce, you got to fill out some type of financial affidavit saying what you got.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want to be like, oh, well, I got that trust down there. So I'm not going to, now you're asking me to lie. Just get out of my office. Right? I don't, why am I trying to engage in your fraud? Right? So you can try to set up these shell companies and then no attorney wants to deal with you. And then if it comes out, if you get divorced and then 5 years later, it comes out that you had that shell company and you didn't announce it in your divorce, the judge can go back, reopen the whole divorce and give her everything, not just the 50%, can give her the whole thing. Because you were being sketchy, you were being shady, you committed a fraud upon the court. They'll sanction you for that. You can get locked up.
You had mentioned something earlier about you saying about you gave a hypothetical about a guy making $750,000. The wife hasn't done nothing in years. Some of these guys like that just get these women with these little pretty faces, and they don't do nothing at all. Like, you don't make sure they have a business. You don't make sure that they create something where they generate money on their own. They just a pretty face on your arm. And I see a lot of guys kind of, this imaginary woman they want is this pretty face, very, very feminine, very, very fit. And she's just walking around like eye candy, and you marry her, and you've seen the result of that. I know you have.
Absolutely.
And it ends horribly, don't it?
Yes. But why? Do you know why? Because the dude didn't have a prenup. Guys, listen, so much of the devastation in a marriage can be avoided with a prenup. Not the devastation you're going to face with your children. Nothing about a child can be put in a prenup. You can put the fact that you're never going to pay alimony. You're not going to pay alimony. You're not going to pay her attorney's fees. You're not going to get screwed over on this real estate. The real estate that you have, it's going to be all yours. The stocks, the bonds, everything is yours. You're not going to get screwed over if you have a prenup. Financially, with the kids stuff, there's still going to be the child support, and you're still going to get screwed over with the visitation and the custody. But if you're making $750,000 and you see the girl at Hooters, you can marry her. But you need a prenup. Marry the girl at Hooters, 22, with a cocaine conviction. Let's be honest. She's hot, but she got that cocaine conviction. And, she might have a kid, but she's still hot. She's 22. Maybe you can tell I'm from Atlanta. I see these young ones in Atlanta are for real.
Yeah, Atlanta is something different, something special. I've been there.
It's for real. These women, these young ones, they grow up fast. But marry this girl with no prenup and see what happens. It's going to be the biggest come up of her life because she's only got a high school education, if we can be honest. Maybe she did a year and a half at a community college down the street, but then she started stripping a little bit. Then she had a kid, so she wanted to clean up. So now she's at Hooters, and here you come, making $500,000 a year. You're 34 years old, and you got money. You're like, yeah, I can support you and your little kid. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, being a simp like a lot of them are. Yes. That's being a simp. Listen, you come to save her for.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the other side of this. A lot of guys may hear all this, say, "Oh man, lead attorney, you know what? I think I was right. I'm not getting married to nobody." Have you seen more and more guys say that based off of the things you're saying and with your experience?
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's very easy to get into the manosphere and see an echo chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get inside an echo chamber. You can walk inside a room. Everybody's saying the same thing in the room. And you can absolutely come out saying, wow, the whole world thinks like this. And it's not true. It's not true. The vast majority of men want to get married. The vast majority of men want to have kids.
I can say that too. Yeah.
So even though there is this thing called the red pill, even though there is this thing called the manosphere, it is tiny compared to the men that actually want. I had a live stream yesterday. A solid brother. He's late 20s, early 30s. He's becoming a psychiatrist. He has been following Kevin Samuels hardcore for 2 years. I would call him a Kevin Samuels expert. I had him on the panel. We were talking. I was like, hey, by the way, do you want to get married? Oh, yeah. Do you want kids? Oh, yeah. How many do you want? It's like 2 or 3. A man that is deeply steeped in the manosphere, deeply steeped in red pill, deeply steeped in how delusional some of these women are. Been following Kevin Samuels for 2 years before he blew up. Still knowing all of this, still wants to get married, still wants to have kids. So shout out to the brother because he was telling the truth, but it's the truth. I would say, we can overvalue the impact that this red pill stuff has. Usually red pill information is something that men are going to internalize after they've gone through their red pill indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I know.
So a lot of times,
a horrible, hard divorce, I make you red pill as hell.
Exactly. And that's when you start consuming the red pill stuff.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So you turn into to one.
Yes, that's exactly right. So instead of taking the malaria, let's say a shot that's going to prevent malaria, you get malaria and now you want to take the medication. Right? And that's what the red pill kind of is. So, but the red pill community doesn't really touch a lot of men in their 20s who still want to get married. You know, if you're 45 and after 2 divorces, you don't need the red pill anymore. You're just looking at it for entertainment, to be honest. You're not really learning much. A 45-year-old with two divorces under his belt. Kevin Samuels ain't telling you anything. You're just kind of cheerleading. Hopefully, what we want is for the red pill community to be informative, to inform these young men. And I think it's doing a little bit. But young men, they have this drive to reproduce, this drive to pair bond. Maybe not when they're 21, certainly when they're 26, 28. They want a family, they want a legacy. So your question is very, it's a great question. Is it having an impact? Is the manosphere having an impact? I think probably 5%, 10%. But if I could be honest, it's mostly entertainment for the men. Now, let's say for Kevin Samuels, it's a little different because he's not even really talking to the men so much. He's talking to the men, but he's talking to the women too.
Right.
So he's a little different. But there are other content creators in the red pill space where they're just slamming women just to slam them. And honestly, I think that's entertainment. Maybe you don't really see it in the black manosphere so much. I see a lot of it in the white manosphere, just slamming women all day long, making fun at them, laughing at them. And it's entertainment, fine, but I'm not sure how much it's teaching the young folks.
Right. Yeah, because every time that I've made even videos, maybe speaking to to women on certain things, and yes, they may not like it, but I'm at the uncle stage now, so I really don't care.
Exactly.
I know what it takes to be in marriage, how to like I said, I'm going on with 10 years with my wife in my marriage now, and I know even because I was married before, and
Yeah.
some people say, why did you get remarried? Well, the first time I was young.
Mhm.
And I said, I'll do it one more time. But I learned my lesson, and I know how to pick better, because there were
Yes.
certain things that was in my first situation that I should have learned, to eliminate, for instance, right? So once I learned to pick better, it's definitely worked out a lot better this time around. You're right. A lot of times men do want to get married. Every guy I know that got something going on, I'm not talking Pookie and Rory, I'm talking about brothers that own businesses who have who making 80, 90,000, $100,000 a year, guys. They say, you know what, I want to get married. I'm laughing at one of my friends. He was the guy that you couldn't tie him down for nothing. He like, you know what, I'm kind of getting there, man. I'm ready to settle
Yeah.
down now. I said, oh, I say, now you finally getting ready, brother? He said, yeah, I'm getting ready. So even guys like that want a family, and he has
Yeah.
a little girl, and he's one of the best dads ever out there, best dad. But he just just didn't work out with his ex. But he was discussing getting married. So yeah, a lot of brothers do want to get married, but at the same time, like you said, they don't want to be raped over the coals either.
Exactly
If this was the
right.
no fault divorce, in my opinion, ruined a lot of, I think, brought the divorce rate up. Because if you
Absolutely.
could just go in there and say, I don't want to be married to you no more, like, okay, what do they do? I just don't want to be with them no more.
Yeah. Yes. I am in favor of the no fault divorce.
You in favor of that?
Yeah. Just because there was a lot of BS going on
Mm-hmm.
back in the day when you had to prove stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like, let's say you are married to a woman, and after 7 years, you look at her and she looks at you, and you both of y'all are both cool, both good people. It's not working out. And maybe you've gone 6 months like this, maybe you've gone 2 years like this. You're not sleeping together anymore. You've been sleeping in separate bedrooms for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Under that situation, that happens all the time. It's a dead bedroom situations. Divorce attorneys see dead bedroom situations on a daily basis. People not sleeping together for 2 years, 4 years, 7 years. And the kids are like, they're asking, the 12-year-old sister asked the 8-year-old brother, why aren't they sleeping in the same bedroom? Oh, it's because daddy snores. Oh, okay. Okay. Right. In that situation, they're not allowed to get divorced. They've been sleeping in separate bedrooms for 4 years. The man has not had sex in 4 years. He's trying to be a good guy, so he hasn't gone out and gotten some side action.
Mm-hmm.
This man is locked in a marriage where he has not had sex for 4 years. You're going to keep him there? I don't want to keep him there. I want him to get out. But if you have to find a fault, where's the fault? No one's cheated. No one's hitting on anybody. No one's a drunk. And I don't want our men in prison like that.
Mm.
I want our
So
men to be able to get out.
so what about a situation? I knew, you know, a girl years ago that her mom and her husband, they say they would both go to you. They say, lead attorney, listen, we know the relationship is over. You know, he can have this, I'm gonna do this. Can you just draft the paperwork, lead attorney? What about a situation like that? Would that work out a lot better?
That happens all the time, but it only happens because we're in a no-fault divorce situation.
Okay.
If it was a fault situation like in the 50s, you couldn't get married. Both people, let's say they're friends. Let's say, okay, it didn't work out, but we still like each other. We still love each other. We are just not in love with each other. And life happens.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get divorced. So then they have to lie. There was so much lying going on back in the day. Guys, you don't know this. There was so much lying going on to get divorced. You have to put in the paperwork, okay, I beat her. You never laid a hand on her, but now it's in the public record that you beat her. But you had to say that you beat her in order to get out of the marriage. I don't want our men trapped. I don't ever I'm a huge proponent of freedom. And you can absolutely get trapped in a marriage. I never want our men trapped. Marriage can be horrible. Maybe I'm biased. I don't think I am, but if you want to say that I'm biased because I'm a divorce attorney, fair enough. You don't know me, but so if you want to put that bias on me, fine. I love getting men out of terrible situations. I
And
love it.
God bless you for it. God
Oh,
bless you.
thank you.
'Cause there's some men, I'm telling you, that literally, like you say, want to lose their mind, or some men will even, you know, unfortunately, listen, this happened on a job I worked. Never forget this. This guy was having problems with his wife. You know, they was talking about getting a divorce. He couldn't take everything that was going on with it. They had called him in for overtime at the job. He ended up leaving about a few hours later to shaking hands. Everybody said, "Hey, he's been real. You know, I appreciate you being cool with me, XYZ." Dude took off, and then a dude went and got a shotgun, went to his property, and what dude ended up doing was he called one of his friends at the job, say, "Look, I'm about to end it all. This relationship's ending. I can't live like this. She's putting me through too much." Guy trying to talk him down, couldn't do it. Dude ended up putting the shotgun in his mouth, and you know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And it was shocker to everybody because I like, did dude kill himself over his wife? I just couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And they got
Absolutely.
some guys that would do that.
Absolutely. 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 And it's totally unnecessary because what so many men find is that after they divorce, they find so much happiness. You yourself got divorced and you found happiness. Shout out to, I have a subscriber on, I did an interview with him on one of mine. He got married, got divorced. He got married again, tried again, just like you. That divorce was worse than the first.
Oh boy.
Now, what he did though is he went to Colombia and
Mm.
found a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Now they're engaged to get married, and now he found his soulmate. But if after that first divorce he would have ended it all, he would have missed all the good stuff now. Similarly, if we don't have no fault divorce and you can't get out of this divorce, you will miss all of the good stuff. I believe we go around one time. And I don't want you missing the good stuff because you're locked in a damn divorce.
And
So,
divorces could get drug out too, because I know about that. Oh, I know about that. Something
yes.
that should have been ended in like 30, maybe 30 days. Mine got drug out to 9 months. So I know
Oh,
exactly.
9
Yeah.
months is nothing. In Georgia, it's 30 days. In Atlanta, the minimum is
Uh-huh.
30 days. So,
Uh-huh.
you can wrap it up in 45 days, 60 days. The minimum is 30 days. In Virginia, it's a year.
Ooh.
Minimum.
Ooh.
Even if you are agreed, even if you agree to divorce, you say, okay, let's draw up the paperwork is drawn up. It's still you have to wait a year.
That's crazy.
So, and if you have to wait a year and you're fighting, it could easily last 3 years.
God.
And imagine paying an attorney for 3 years. You know how much that's gonna
Yeah, yeah,
cost.
you about to be broke.
Go
You about to
ahead.
be broke.
Yes, go
You
ahead and
about to
take that
lose the
loan from
car.
that 401k. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
which I lost a car during my divorce.
Absolutely.
I lost a car. I was renting a rental car for about 6 months, man. I mean, trust me, I've been through
Yes.
I've been through it, brother.
Absolutely. You know about it.
I started
And
over in an apartment with no furniture.
yes. Shout out to you. You're exactly right. You can hear people and tell when they know about it. The
Oh
whole thing
yeah.
about men having to start over, you are absolutely right. Women don't start over. Well,
No,
they got your
no.
stuff. They might have to start over dating, but they got your stuff. They got the kids.
They got the house.
They got the house.
The house that I was paying for and all of that. The judge would give them
Exactly.
the house like it ain't, well, they got kids, here's the house. And then I'm like, well, you can't afford it though. It's like, so how is it, but no, I don't want no other woman in here. Like,
That's
okay.
exactly right.
End up losing the house, but that's
Oh,
cool. That's cool. Trust me. Like that statement, you're greater later. Trust me,
yes.
I'm greater later. Trust me on that. I'm cool,
And then here's the thing,
but
though. But here's the thing, because this is what you need to recognize when you were talking about the no-fault divorce.
mhm.
A lot of men in the manosphere, oh, we don't like the no-fault divorce. Like you said, no-fault divorce ruined everything. Well, if it was fault divorce, imagine if you could not have gotten out of that first divorce. Then where's your greater later? Like, think about it. You are living a happy life now. Would you still be happy if you could not get out of that other divorce because you didn't want to hit her?
Well, in infidelity also was part of it as well.
Yeah, but sometimes they won't cheat on you. I'm
Okay.
not sure what happened in your situation.
Yeah, I got
Listen, if I get married to Oprah, I ain't cheating. At least not for the first 4 or 5 years. At least until I'm locked in,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it's deep. But I want men to be able to maximize their freedom. Sometimes men have a scarcity mindset. Oh, a government, lock her in with me. Government, put a handcuff on her and me together so that she can't get away. Let's get rid of the no fault divorce so that she's handcuffed to me. I don't like when men have that mindset.
Well, I'm gonna say the reason why I made that statement
And I'm
was
not
not so
shooting
much.
at you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying at least why I think maybe they made that statement, even why I mentioned that to you, and you explained it from the other side, so it definitely makes sense. I didn't never heard it from that perspective. But the reason why I think a lot of them could say that is that you could be the best guy ever, and then all of a sudden now you're getting the sheriff show up at your door and you're like, what's this? And you're talking about divorce papers, like, where that come from? Like that sort of thing. I think that's what some of the guys are referring to, not so much as, oh, I'm trapped, I can't get out, the beating, the this. It's like, for instance, what's that guy recently? I even did a video on him. I got to upload Dwayne Haskins.
Oh yeah, I heard
He
something
just
about
married.
that.
You talked about him?
No, I haven't talked about it. I heard about the situation. I don't know really the details. I just heard that something had gone on with him.
Yeah, he married his wife in March. They was in Las Vegas, and she ended up, hitting him, knocked his teeth out his mouth. She ended up getting arrested, but she was trying to lie and say, oh, his friends is the one he got in a fight with. And then she was insinuating, like, well, I was a bruise too, so I don't know, like, just some shady things that if the police would have really listened to, they'd have locked up Dwayne.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You just married this woman, right? So it's just little cases like that, I guess, that guys also look at. I don't know, man. It's just,
Yeah, that's an
I would have
argument.
married that
That's an
woman from the
argument.
get-go because she was violent from the get-go. Usually women that's violent, they're gonna show themselves to you way before they get you marry them.
True. A lot of times those are the hot ones too.
Yeah, the toxic female.
Yes, they can get away with so much. A woman that 300 pounds, she can't lift a finger because she gone. She knows that you gone. But if she's 24 and hot, I think I saw a picture of. I don't know if it's a good picture or a bad picture. It's in my head though. Of the Dwayne Haskins. I thought she was hot a little bit. I have to look. If you say no, leader turn yourself okay. But the little
No,
picture that
she
I
gets
got,
away. She gets away with a lot, 'cause you know how it is
yeah,
with guys. She's the type of female guys gonna simp with because it's even certain pictures he was taking with her. He wasn't like it was just like, oh my god. You have to see the pictures and you know what I'm talking about.
it's
But
true, and like you said, a guy's letting women get away with it. There was a big thing in the manosphere a month ago about Mike Rashid, and Mike Rashid is a bodybuilder who went on a content creator named Jessica X's show.
uh-huh.
And Mike Rashid, he's got millions of followers, super rich. He's a bodybuilder, black dude. So he's
Okay.
jacked, attractive dude. And he was saying, well, all of these men in the red pill community, they're just weak. Like there's nothing. Why don't they just get women? Like, what's their deal? And everybody's like, Mike, a lot of women aren't worth anything. A lot of women are shady, and men need to understand how women are. And it's like, no, women are cool. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And the content kind of the conversation kind of went to women abusing men. And Mike was like, women abusing men? That's not a thing. Like, women don't hit men. Women don't abuse men. And people are like, Mike, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, I don't think it's a problem at all. He's like, the problem is men abusing women. He said, if a woman hits me, I'm a bodybuilder. What is he gonna? If a woman hits a man, nothing's gonna happen. Losing teeth. Twain has there. Nothing's gonna happen. That's what happens is when a man beats a woman. That's the terrible thing. When a woman hits a man, that's nothing. There's no problem there. Then it came out 20 minutes later into the conversation that some woman was like threatening him. He had to go hide in the bathroom and lock the door. The same man that was saying it's not a problem, women abusing men, is the same man that's hiding in a bathtub. Right? So, but like you said, this just goes to your point about men letting women slide with things.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to like. Most men not gonna want to just hit a woman.
He had to hide. Yeah, if he would have even just tried to, he's arrested.
Yeah.
Right, but why is that? Why do we live in a system where a man can't even defend himself? A man has to go hide and lock himself in the bathroom and sit in the bathtub and just wait till she goes away. Right? If a man did that, if a man was beating on the door and the woman was hiding in the bathtub, that man would go to jail.
Yes, he would.
But if it's reversed, if a man has to hide in the bathtub because he can't touch her, any bruise and he's going to jail. And this man is on, he's a bodybuilder, but he's big on social media. He's big on Instagram and on YouTube, huge on Instagram. So he can't go to jail. He can't risk going to jail over a domestic violence charge. But because the way the system is set up against us, if he would have defended himself in this, if she would have had one little bruise from him kind of restraining, he's going to jail. And now he's on TMZ in jail. So the same man that's saying women abusing men is not a problem is the same man that's hiding in the bathtub from women.
Well, yeah, I just recently read 1 in 10 domestic violence victims are men. I think they say 24% also is men as well. So it is an issue.
I think it's way higher. Men don't report it. Just like you said, true. Men cut women slack.
Yeah.
Most men have been hit by a woman. Maybe not in the face or something like that, but pushed or something that if a man did, most men have been touched by a woman at some point in their life in a way that was not consensual. Absolutely. But it's not like she went to jail, but that's men cutting women slack, like you said. Mm-hmm. This is what we do as men. We're like, oh, it didn't hurt. Right? I'm not bleeding, fine.
Yeah, it's usually how you react to it.
Yeah. You're a big dude, right? So if a woman pushes you, you're like, just good, just calm down.
Yeah.
But that's a part of the unfairness of the system. It shouldn't be that women just get, if you are 220 pounds, women can just hit you. That shouldn't be the rule. But that's the world that we live in. But the same guy
had men that have called the police and say, hey, this woman hit me, and then they've had 911 dispatchers like, sir, like, are you really hurt? Like things like that has been said, and or the police show up and they kind of like, well, come on, man.
Yeah, they show up and like, oh, you a big dude. You could be a football player. What are you calling us?
Uh-huh.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's a terrible situation. This is why I started my channel, man, to talk about this stuff. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. But and what's the situation? What's the resolution? Who knows? Maybe we need to start calling the cops on these women.
Well, I believe the resolution is, I just peep it early. I have a rule that if a woman is too aggressive, even with her mouth, like not cussing about something, but cussing you out, getting in your
Yes.
face, like, what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna do nothing. But
Yes.
the best thing I'm gonna do is remove myself from the situation. You won't hear from me no more because they
Absolutely.
show signs early. They just don't haul off and hit you. That's usually not how it goes.
You're right.
Okay. You see this kind of, the lying they like to do. Some of them do, like the habitual lying. Pay close attention to habitual lying. Be lying about even small things, just lying constantly.
Yes.
They too always want to check you. Oh, let me see your phone. Let me see this. Let me see that. Something's wrong with her because I laid out the groundwork and say, look, you're not checking my phone. You're not getting no password. You're not getting
Right.
nothing. And if you feel you need all that, then don't be with me because you have a
Exactly.
trust issue and I'm not a therapist. So you're not
Exactly.
about to run me crazy.
You're exactly right. You are exactly right. But men need to understand that not all women are cut out to be your long-term relationship partner. Some women shouldn't even be your short-term relationship partner. Some women are shout out to the guy in Atlanta down here. He had on over $1 million worth of jewelry. I don't know if you heard about that. His watch alone was $1 million
Why?
because he thought she was hot. She's 23, tats everywhere, and
Tats everywhere. Jesus Christ.
tatted up. Shout out to her. And and I thought it was BS, honestly. It was like, oh, okay, this brother has on $1 million watch alone, and all. The police were like, no, we saw the receipts. The police were saying it's all true. And they arrested her. Actually, she turned herself in because this wasn't the first dude that she got. She was on videotape. This wasn't the first dude she got, but the backstory is this young man took this woman out to dinner. She's 23, had on over $1 million worth of jewelry. Took her to the club, took her to eat, took her out to the club, took her back to the hotel. They were doing and then he fell asleep. He woke up, the shower was on. So he had put his jewelry in the safe, in the hotel safe. He woke up, the shower was on. He was like, okay, she's taking a shower, kind of went back to sleep. He woke up, shower still on. It's like, man, she's still in the shower. So he knocks on the door, nothing. Opens the door, just the shower running. Immediately he goes, looked at the safe door is wide open. She gone. Took over she's 23 years old, took over $1 million worth of his jewelry. And you see the video surveillance where they walk into the hotel. He had on all the jewelry.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion of that's good for him. You know why? Take $1 million and put that into I don't know, diversify that into some stocks.
Yeah.
You can get some real estate, some mutual funds, even some Bitcoin, whatever you want to get. I mean, I don't understand some black men with that. You live in Atlanta, and there's a lot of that going on.
Absolutely.
Like, that's just so silly to me. It may not even be that woman would have done that. It would have been him. Pookie and Ray would have ran up on him. Hey, give me all that drip right now.
Right now.
I mean, that's silly.
Yes. A fool and his money is gonna be parted, right?
Oh, that's funny.
It's true. It's true. So some women should not be your wife. Some women should not be your long-term girlfriend. And what men need to know is that some women should not even be your one-night stand. Right? Just because she's fine does not mean she qualifies. Like, hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't just treat yourself like any woman is available to get you. Right? Really try to vet these women. And like you said, try to peep the game early. If she shows any signs, I mean, there's just women everywhere. We don't need to devalue ourselves like that.
Yeah, yes, sir. And just remember that movie with Martin Lawrence and Thin Line Between Love and Hate. They do get crazy now.
Yes.
They do get crazy.
Yes. You'll be like, oh, my baby over there taking a shower. I must have really wore out. She in that rental car driving away with all of your jewelry.
Yeah, or she could stalk you behind too. Now, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna do my thing and I'm gonna go on by my business. And then now, like, how does she know where I live? Man, women are the best FBI agents ever. I don't know why the FBI just don't hire a bunch of women because they are great.
Right. Even Cardi B. Cardi B came out and admitted to she was drugging women and having men come in and robbing them and stuff. Like, even Cardi, I don't know how she's still around. I don't know how Me Too hasn't got her.
Bill Cosby went to jail. Why Cardi? Well, let me see. This will happen. Cardi B is good for them folks right now making the money. When she gets to the point she's not making the money no more, they'll bring her back that old video, and that's how they'll get her. She try to cross one of them folks or whatever with her mouth. they'll bring that video up and she'll get prosecuted. These people ain't forgot about that video. Trust me.
They're waiting on it, right?
They wait till she's no longer useful, and then maybe later they'll bring that video back up.
You're
But
right.
the lead attorney, tell people how to get to your channel and what they're gonna see when they get there.
Yes. Again, let me thank you again for having me on your platform. I really, really appreciate it. Again, I am the lead attorney. I don't really have social media stuff like that. Don't look for me on Twitter. My Instagram page, I think I got 4 posts that are 2 years old, so don't look at those. If you want to find me, you can find me in one place. I am on YouTube, and you just type in the lead attorney, and I will pop up. I talk about a lot of things now. I used to, all of my videos beforehand, we're talking to you men about child support, talking to you men about divorce, about alimony, things like that. Of course, YouTube has shown me some things where, you got to talk about the pop stars a lot. You want to clout chase a little bit. YouTube says if you clout chase, you'll start getting some views, right? So now what I do is I talk about current events, but I inject my perspective into these current events. So I've talked a lot. I did a video about Cardi B, for example, or I talked about the Bill Cosby situation, talked about the Charlemagne the God situation. And I also talk about YouTube as well for any new YouTubers. I'm a relatively new YouTuber. I've been on YouTube maybe about 15, 16 months. So, and I was just monetized, I think, in January. So I'm shouting out little YouTubers like me, and we're just exchanging tips and tricks and stuff like that. So if you want a place to shout out your channel and get some tips and tricks on starting a YouTube channel, or if you want my original content, what I started this channel for, which was to help young men and even older men too, but especially the young ones who haven't, gone through 2 and 3 divorces, who can still use this information in an actionable way, then come check me out. We're a small community over there, but we're growing. We're about 36,000 subscribers, and we do a lot of good stuff over there. So yeah, just find me, just put in the lead attorney, and I'll pop right up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go subscribe. All y'all, especially you brothers, sisters want to go subscribe to our brother lead attorney. That link will be below in that pinned comment. And I will say the lead attorney, you got a good platform going. I mean, your setup is good. The lighting is good. I mean, a lot of people that transfer from your profession to doing this sometimes struggle on presentation, or they want to spend the money on it. So it's definitely look and sound good, and that also brings people in. But one thing I will say, the Instagram page you have, they have a new thing on Instagram called badges. So you can make money on live streams now on Instagram. So since you're used to live streaming, maybe you could start getting more into Instagram, making some money over there.
I didn't know that. See, you put me on game. I didn't know anything about Instagram badges, so I'll check that out. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Anybody need information, I'm willing to share it with the brothers.
Thank you.
We need to get every stream of revenue that we can, right?
Yes, we're absolutely right, because it's not like YouTube is going to make you $1 billion. So that's true.
No, it's not.
Certainly not at 30,000 subscribers, you're not going to get it like that. I'll tell you that.
Well, I ain't got it at 1 million either, so don't feel bad. So, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out the lead attorney's platform. And if you're in Atlanta, and I guess you need the lead attorney's help, I'm pretty sure you can reach out to him, and maybe you can get that prenup and save yourself some trouble.
There you go. Yeah, I do consults. I try not to represent you guys because some of y'all are crazy, but you can absolutely go on my channel if you want a one-on-one consult. Well, I absolutely do those.